I got kind of a fun one today. I get to mess with some good stuff. So check this out. Paul contacted me. He wanted me to build him a bass. He's inspired by like the Danelectros and the Mosrites and all that kind of stuff, which is, right in my wheelhouse. I love that. So I'm like, cool, I can do that. Then he says, but I have this 35-inch scale, beautiful graphite PV neck I want to use. I'm like, all right, no problem. And I have this sentimental block of mahogany. So we're going to try to build what's typically a short scale bass in this sort of super long scale. Paul and I have already gone back and forth in designs a little bit. We're going to do this sort of extended bottom horn kind of thing with this with the pick guard. Because the other cool thing about this is I don't have to finish it. Paul's going to do that, so I want to make it so it's easy for him to disassemble to do the final sanding and finishing and whatnot in his own place. So this is what we've sort of come up with, and as is my nature nowadays, I'm actually going to make two of them. I'm going to make one out of this blank that I glued up with some scraps, and just use one of my kit bass guitar necks at 34-inch scale, so I have to do some sort of changing around there, some measurements, and I'm probably going to do just a single pickup in that, maybe a 2 pickup. He wants 3 bad boys in there, and I have to create a neck pocket for this PV neck, but once we figure out all that, it should be easy. What could possibly go wrong? Before I cut the final instrument, I'm going to cut one out of this blank, like I mentioned, with a 34-inch scale neck, because I did cut it out in cardboard and I have a pretty good sense of everything, but I really want to see it in 3D before I make that final one with that client's piece of wood. So you can see here on, this is slightly different than the one I'm going to be cutting for the client, but I've got this all set up so it's going to cut a sweep on the back side first, and then do a sweep on the front, cut it all out. We'll see how it looks, and if it looks good, then we'll go ahead and set up the proper file. There we go. Now I can see it in 3 dimensions in this kind of scraggly wood. I have a lot of epoxy and filling and stuff to do. I can see that my cutaways aren't too steep. That was my concern. If anything, they're not steep enough, but I can always go in and edit that by hand. So I think I'll leave them right where they are, and I'm happy with the size and the shape of it. It feels like it's pretty well balanced. I could even put some strap pegs on this one right now and just see if it fits. I was, obviously we're concerned about head dive and whatnot, especially with such a small body. The mahogany one will be a little heavier, but the neck will be a little longer because it does have that extra inch. And so then I also wanted to make sure that this neck pocket would work. I had to create a new one for it because it's a little bit different than the standard sort of J-base pocket. So I created this. Looks good, ready to go. I think it's time to make some mahogany sawdust. Instead of just making one giant rectangle here, you can see why I did the two pickup profiles. I knew that would just be in this way, the wood will go into the rounded corners of the pickups. I think we're off to a pretty good start. Okay, I'm happy with the look, but I feel like there's a little, I can't quite reach that last fret like there, so I want to take this in just a little bit more. I made this template after designing the change on the computer. I made these 2 bodies are actually a little bit different because of the different scale lengths, so I made this template here where I took this in, I saw it on the computer, it looks good, so I'm going to clamp that on here and use that to remove just a little bit of material here, and then I'm going to have to kind of fudge it on this one to make it work right because the bodies are slightly different. What could possibly... That's better. That's better. The end of this video is a little bit unsatisfactory because the one with the blue pickguard is not done yet. I'm waiting on tuners for that. And the other one is not finished yet because the owner of it, Paul, is going to do the final sanding and finishing himself. But at least we can hear what all those buttons do. This was a fun one to make. I loved the collaborative process with Paul. You know, he had some materials and he had some ideas of some designs that he liked. I don't copy other instrument makers' designs. I think that's sort of wrong. So I always just sort of do my own, like, inspired by versions and takeaways from them, which is what we came up with. I think it's something that's sort of fresh and unique, yet still has that sort of retro vibe to it. The thumb rest is this idea that came to me halfway through the process of this, and I wanted to experiment with it a little more. Right now it's just stuck on Paul's with some two-sided tape because I don't want to put a bunch of holes in his instrument if he decides he doesn't like it. It's a good way to try it out. You know, I'm always trying to look for ways to make the experience of playing music better, different, you know, more enjoyable, more inspiring, whatever. This one's fun with the triple pickups. There's 2 humbuckers, and then the one in the middle is a single coil, so there's a lot of sonic possibilities there that we barely scratched the surface in this video. I can't wait to see it finished, and I can't wait to finish the other one. If you follow me over at Instagram at TimSway1, I post pictures of this stuff a lot of times before it gets to YouTube, and some videos and whatnot, have some conversations about it. And so if you go there, you'll be able to hear that one when it's done. I'm sure I'll play it there, and maybe I can get Paul to send me some finished pictures or video of this when he finishes it. And also, I do things like discuss names. I wanted to come up with a name for this new design, and so I put that out there on Instagram, and there's a lot of great ideas. A lot of them had to do with fish in the sea and whatnot. One of the ideas that kind of came up in that nautical theme was the Triton, like Poseidon's. And I kind of liked that one, but I was thinking of adding an E to it to make it the tritone, as in like the devil's triad. So that's the tentative name for this model right now, is the tritone. Names are really not that important. We don't need labels, man. But if you have any ideas for names, you can leave them in the comments below. All right, thanks a lot, and be good. We have enough fish names. So. All right, thanks.